Okay. I'm trying to talk not too loudly because I don't want to disturb my neighbors. This is being done almost at 2 in the morning, guys. So if you're not hearing me very well, I'll try to boost my voice in post-production. Next to my voice sounding really rough because I've been sneezing on and off during the night. I don't want to disturb my neighbors. So if you don't hear me very well, I'm very sorry. New Japan Pro Strong, only the strong survive, was disappointing. And I'm going to say it now, what caused the entire situation, which made it totally disappointing. I blame New Japan Pro Strong, and I blame Impact Wrestling. Flat out, I blame them both. I don't care who ran it. It doesn't matter to me. If they both ran it, if Impact ran it, or New Japan Pro Strong ran it. One, they had a bad venue in the Global Studio. What is it, Global Studio or Global Theater? Global Theater in Los Angeles. Then whoever the moron was, that asinine moron, decided to make the lighting extremely low. Where they had a sold out crowd in the place, we didn't see it. Then audio glitched a lot. The vid packs leading into the next matches glitched. When it came to Gia, she had to stand there and wait the first 2 interviews because she couldn't even hear her cue. It was bad. Am I taking anything away from the wrestling? No, when you could see in the ring, it was good. But I am going to say this with a caveat when it comes to the camera work. It was bad. There was someone running it that did not understand that they need to have an open like this. They didn't do that. But there's a caveat. It was a very narrow area where they were working. And a full screen, like I just showed you, it probably would have looked very bad. So they decided to do tight shots. Kind of like this. Now, is that the wisest thing to do? Not really all the time. But it would have worked in brighter lighting. It did not. So it looked bad. But I'm not taking anything away from the general camera work. And particularly, they were not Impact cameramen. You have one woman there with tats on her, tattoos. And there was maybe one other person. And it was obvious that you could see someone else was running the camera in production. But if it was Joint Strong or Joint Impact, I don't care. If both of them were taking care of half the show, then the other half, it was bad. So, kickoff. We had Gabriel Kidd versus Yorimura. Now, both of them are young lions from New Japan Pro Strong. And Yorimura is now on Impact. And Gabriel, I don't know where he is. Maybe he's still on Strong. Maybe he's floating between New Japan Pro and Strong. Don't know. It was alright. When you could see the match, it was fine. The first match was the Scramble, which was my favorite match. You had Swan, Trey Miguel, Kaz, a guy named Connor, which I did see in ROH, which was interesting. Rocky Romero and Kevin. I always get Romero's name wrong. And Kevin Knight. I'm not feeling Kevin Knight yet. Not yet. And Rocky's always been good. Connor is interesting. Because that guy was very strong. Interesting. In the end, Trey won. I wasn't surprised what was going to happen. I didn't expect Trey to win there. But if there was someone who could have won it from Trey, I would have liked to see Kaz win. I kind of wish Kaz had won the world title months ago, but if there had to be someone other than Trey, it could have been Kaz. That's just me. Next, the 8-man tag. And this is where it gets interesting. We had former people from MLW and NWA. We got Filthy Tom Lawler. I remember him from Team Filthy. And we had Kratos. My boy Kratos, who I've always liked when he was in NWA. He a lot worked in NWA. but now he's in New Japan Pro Strong. Boy can wrestle. I like him. But also we had Sammy on this side, and why was Joe Henry there? I don't know why. But then we got PCO, Sammy, Fred Rosser, who is, I forgot, he was working in NWA as well. He worked in the Primetime Players, but now he's bald. He went bald. I don't remember him losing all his hair. He still had a lot of hair in his head. He just decided to go bald. And we basically had, what is this guy's name? I can't find his name here. Colin? Maybe Colin. I can't pronounce his name correctly. It's the first time I ever saw him. Extremely strong wrestler. He was very impressive. I wouldn't mind seeing him in Impact Wrestling. He seems very interesting. In the end, the ones that made that match really good was PCO and Kratos. I liked that dynamic. That was the dynamic I liked the most. When Kratos was going up against PCO, flat out, I would love to see Kratos working in Impact Wrestling. I think he did at one point come to Impact, I think once. I can't remember, it's been a long time. But I do believe that he has only been working in NWA and MLW. I believe he went to MLW easily, and New Japan Pro Strong. I don't remember if he ever went to Impact during the time I've been watching. It's a possibility, but you guys can tell me below. Ones that won was PCO, Sammy, for Rosser, and Cogden. I believe that's his name. Coglin. I think that's his name, Coglin. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. I'm sorry. The match that was good, but then not. Jeff Cobb versus Moose. Now, mind you, was it bad? No. But Jeff had already wrestled. Now, this would have been his second match during that day. I don't know where he was before. No, of course. He was working AEW Wednesday. So he had to fly from St. Louis to Los Angeles to do the match. And he probably was lagged. He was tired, I think. Because you could tell he was kind of tanking. It was not Moose's fault that Cobb didn't look like he was fresh. He looked tired. So he didn't work that well in that match. But doesn't mean the match was bad. It should have been here, but it was kind of here. So this could have been top tier. It felt like it was here. Well above average, but easily it was missing something. In the end, Cobb won over Moose. I'm not too surprised, but I kind of wish that he had had time to rest. But being this is WrestleCon, I'm not surprised. I'm not. Next, the fatal four-way for the number one contender spot leading into Rebellion. And that has Marsha Slamovich, it has Gazelle Shaw, it has Deonna Purrazzo, and the debuting, generally on this show, because they did show her on Impact, and that is Yamashu, she's a so how can I pronounce her name? Yamashita, I think that's her name. Yamashita, I believe that's her name. I will learn her name. She's brand new. She's from Japan. It's one of the rare times that Impact has a female knockout Japanese wrestler. I am happy to see that. I saw a little bit of her on the countdown from Impact before the show. She looked good. She went up against Killer Kelly, which I wasn't too fond to see Killer Kelly job. It would have been fine if Alicia Edwards had jobbed. I'm being honest here. I'd rather see Killer Kelly not get jobbed and Alicia get jobbed, because she's a jobber of the show. That's the way it is. Was it a good match? Yeah. I didn't expect Marsha to win. No, there's only one person there that made sense, and that was Deonna. There was no one else. And the match was pretty good. In the end, and this is the second best match of the night for me personally. It was the second best match. I enjoyed it. Gazelle Shaw did a good job. She at one point decided to jump off the top turnbuckle doing a corkscrew right off the top. And since Mickie James was there, because she was there live, she was shocked that she managed to do that, which I had no problem with. I liked it. There was nothing wrong with the match. It was the second best match for me personally. I did like it a lot. Now, here's a match I have to say I did not see the ending of, but I saw most of it. And that is the Fatal 4-Way for the Men's Tag Championship with the Motor City Machine Guns, Bullet Club, Aussie Open, and TMDK. I saw most of it, but due to the fact that I've been having allergy issues and I had to take some medicine, I fell asleep part of the way through it. I fell asleep. That's my fault. I had to take my allergy medicine, but I fell asleep. That's my fault. So I did not see who won. I didn't. I don't know who won. But if I had to guess, I don't think Bullet Club lost. I don't think Ace and Bay lost. But the team that I would have liked to see win would have been Aussie Open. I don't want to see the Guns win. I still love Motor City Machine Guns with Sabin and Shelley, but I would have liked to see Aussie Open win because it would give them a reason to come around Impact more often. I've seen them on AEW TV. They are interesting, but I don't think they won. Now, if they did win, great. We're going to see them on Impact Television. But if they didn't win and Bullet Club won, I am not surprised. A match that was interesting, but why did they do that? Why would they do that to Kushida? A number one contender spot. Because we know Josh cannot wrestle. He's torn his tricep. He's out. But instead of leaving Kushida, you give Kushida versus Leo Rush a number one contender spot. If Leo won, he would work with Macklin in Rebellion. Why? Why? It's last minute thing. I don't remember him talking about it. Now, of course, I could be wrong because I didn't check the card beforehand to see if this was done a couple of weeks ahead of time. I don't like to do that. I like to be surprised. I like to go in blind. But if this was already booked like this, fine. But I don't think that would have been a wise thing. If this was last minute, this definitely made no sense. Was it a good match? Yeah. There was some good psychology in the match. Not great psychology, but it was good. In the end, Kushida won. I'm not surprised. And I'm fine with the time splitter. But here's the match that I gotta say. You know what? I'm saying the ones I liked. The Scramble for the exhibition title, that was number 2. The Fatal 4-Way with the women, that was number 3. This is number 1 for me. Miru Suzuki versus Kenta. That is the best match for me. This match wasn't about being very hard hitting. It was more by psychology. Because if you watch the match itself, you see both of these guys mirrored each other, not with their styles, but with their personalities. And this is some of the stuff that we're missing in AEW television. They literally showed these guys having this type of attitude where when you see that Suzuki has a certain attitude where he likes to toy with his people, and Kenta, who I barely see much of, but I know that the way he's acting, he has a similar personality where they like to show off, where they like to toy with their opponent to throw them off. Both of them, literally, they mirrored one another. Their ring styles are not exactly the same, but it felt important. And I didn't even know the story for New Japan So Strong where they've been at each other's throats for a while. But you can see from their personalities, they're very similar. But Suzuki had he liked to toy with his opponents until you piss him off. And then he's going to do whatever he can to break your face. And then Kenta, he's going to toy with you, try to break your face, and then he's going to toy with you some more. And in the end, Kenta won because he's the openweight champion of New Japan Pro Strong. I didn't expect Miru to win. It would have been nice because, well, technically what Tom Farragon said, saying that he has never won a title in America for a major promotion, is wrong. He has. He had the television title from ROH, which is debunked, but still he got it. But I do know what he was talking about, getting a major title, being a champion in America. Because he's been in, I believe, in All Japan Pro Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling. I don't know if he went to DDT. I believe that's another company. I don't know if he became the champion there, but he's never been a champion for a major promotion at the top of that promotion. So I understand what it was saying. That's just me. Finally, Tomohishi versus a speedball Mike Bailey. A dream match for him. What he said, and knowing that if he had a dream match, and that's Mike Bailey, he wants one or two people. Tomohishi or John Cena. Unfortunately, since John is mainly exclusive to WWE and he doesn't wrestle much, you probably would never see it. Unless he decides, you know what, I'm not going to WWE this time. I'm going to go somewhere else where I know I'm going to meet this guy and I'm going to do it. I'm not saying John Cena would do that, but you know what I mean. This was a fine match. It wasn't bad. Good psychologies to a certain extent. Seeing that Tomohishi worked on his left leg to make him look vulnerable was good. Kind of like what happened with Kushida with Leo Rush, where he worked on his left arm. You got Tomohishi working on Speedball Mike Bailey's leg. Hopefully I'm not getting these names mixed up. It is late in the night. If I'm mixing names up, I'm sorry. But in the end, Tomohishi, he won, but it kind of feels like it's kind of missing something. It wasn't a bad match. There was some decent psychology. I think what was missing was a build. This is one of the few that needed a real build to go into this. But since Wrestleverse United is not going to be about builds for both promotions months ahead of time, where they would basically go to each other's promotion to make it mean something, you got what you got. I've been going by what I saw. Did the matches work? Yes. All the matches were not bad. I didn't have a problem. The production value sucked. And I'm not going to lie about the fans. If the place was sold out, they screwed up with the audio again. Because you barely heard the people in the venue. If they were all screaming and yelling at the same time, it was very low. It almost sounded like there was no one cheering. And I'm being honest here. Only a few times did they cheer. And it was like they barely cheered at all. And if you say, well, they're trying to be like Japanese, no. We're talking about people in not Las Vegas, but basically in California, Los Angeles. They'll cheer. And you could not hear them. Either there was no one really interested in this, or they did not turn those mics up and they needed it because they needed people to feel immersed. You're in a small venue, the Global Theater in Los Angeles, where you did not make the lighting work. The audio was very low or bad. Hell, when you looked at the commentary team, they did a long shot like this. It looked terrible. The production was horrid. And like I said, I'm giving at least a little bit of understanding when it came to the camera. Because they were in a very small, tight venue. But the position the cameras were not good. And how they thought how to use the camera wasn't very good. It was disappointing. The matches were all good. But the production value again was bad. For me personally. But this is just me. I hope you enjoy this. I am going to edit this and try to bring up the voice if the voice is too low. Sorry if I sound a little raspy. I've been sneezing all night. My eyes are itching. My sneezing all night. I took my medicine. I briefly fell asleep. I will be doing Super Card of Honor tomorrow. I should be able to do it. Peace.